Hello everyone, nice to see you here. My name is Jurgita and this is my knitting universe, 2.5. Welcome. I've been living in Norway for nearly 5 years, to be more exact in the south of Norway, in a little town called Arendal. I guess most of you have heard this name in the film Frozen. And it looks exactly as beautiful as the town in the film. I guess sometimes even more beautiful, in fact. I've been wanting to record and to tell you what I'm doing for quite a long time, but I'm so awkward with technologies that I've been postponing till one day I said, enough. So I'm here telling what I've been doing this week. What I finished is a sweater. It's called Acorn by Junko Akamoto, but I didn't buy the pattern because I thought it's very easy to knit. And I just looked at it and knitted version 1. That was according to the picture with very long yoke part, and the armpit was around here, and it was really huge and oversized. I didn't like how it sits because as soon as you lift your arm, if the armpit is here, the whole sweater goes up. So I unraveled it and recalculated, and I changed the ribbing here for the neckline. I did my own because she had to cable 1-on-1 I think cables, but I made like this zigzaggy thing and then slip stitches, and the acorns are okay. What I changed here was she was making increases till the end of this neckline, and then she suddenly stopped, and here it was like a big bump of fabrics like sticking out, and I thought, well, it shouldn't be like that. In the first sweater I knitted, I tried to change it and it was okay. Here I even I stopped decreasing somewhere here, and if I made the increases every row here, then I started doing every other row, then every third, maybe 2 times every third, and then I stopped. Well, this acorn pattern is free on Pinterest, and there are many schemes for this, so I just took and used it. I just had to center it so these 2 acorns are just in the middle. However, and I finished the same for the bottoms and for the cuffs. The only thing that is a bit difficult is this chart, because it's for 48 stitches, so you can either make 48 stitches bigger or 48 stitches smaller, so the difference is huge. You skip 3 or 4 sizes, so I can't make it smaller, I can't make it bigger using this yarn. I can either change it by using thinner yarn and then making it a bit, knitting 5 repeats, and then it would be a bit bigger. Sorry, that's my dog doing something. The yarn I used is Alize Lana Gold Classic. It's a Turkish company and it's very popular in my country. It's it's cheap, quite cheap, because it's got 50 wool, 50 acrylic. But the good thing about it is that you can wash it in the washing machine. And this sweater, though I like it so much and I think of knitting one for myself is not for me, it's for my Etsy shop, and now I'm knitting sweaters, so I could open and have something to show. And this is the third garment I'm knitting, a different, like I have three different sweaters. So, and for people who don't knit and who like to buy and wear knitted things, it's usually lots of work to do, like hand washing every time. We who love yarn enjoy washing, blocking, like doing anything if we come to touch the yarn. But for normal sweater users, it has to be as easy as possible. And this yarn can be washed and it doesn't shrink, it doesn't pill, it's like hardware yarn. So I decided to go for it, so the clients are satisfied and could wear this for 2-3 years with no problems at all. So this is I finished. I will take some photos today because I washed it yesterday, and I will show you how it sits on me. My size is M, sometimes S, usually M, so this is for SM. So this is about the finished ones. Now works in progress. I had sock mania because my colleague asked me to knit a pair of socks. I knitted him like 2 pairs of socks like 3 years ago, and I used Sanna's Garn Sisu, but it's not as sturdy as Regia or Opal, and then it got like holes on the heel and on the sole, and now he asked me for new ones, so I knitted a pair of socks. I don't have, I will put a photo because I was in a hurry to give them to him, so I didn't take any photos. The only requirement he had was to make as bright as possible so he could find wherever he loses in his apartment. And then when I showed him what yarn I'm going to use for my son's socks, he also decided to ask for it, and he asked 1 pair for himself and 1 for his girlfriend. So so I knitted for him, for his girlfriend, and then plus 2 more. Okay, now let me show his socks. I don't have either because I also gave it to him. He's size 45. And I was using this yarn that's Lana Grosso Mylan White Magico 2. It's self-strapping, very bright yarn. It looks like this. You can see many photos on Pinterest and Ravelry using this color choice. So I knitted 1 for his girlfriend, that is size 41. I knitted on number 2. What I do for all my socks is like I make a tiny loop at the end. So you could, when I joke, you can hang it if you are like traveling, or you can pull them up while you're wearing your shoes, so it just fits nicely. The other thing I tried to do in these socks, maybe you can see it. Can you see this like transitioning part? I made it double. I don't know how to call it in English. It's like, we call it like false hiding brim, like it would be like the closest translation. For example, in machine knit sweaters, when you want to hide the decreases and increases on your neckline, for example, and you make the cuff, the neckline cuff, so you just make it like double and then put one side on the sweater and the other on the other side and sew it, so this not nice edging kind of hides. I didn't have what to hide here, but I thought it would give some stability and it would be a nice smooth like transition. So I knitted this part on number 1 needles. There you have to make the number of stitches double. and so it looks the same on both sides. Then I made a little increases for the instep and then decreases and the forgotten heel, so that the color could like gradually fade and go into another. So I made one for his girlfriend. Then while I was knitting those, I was chatting on Messenger with my friends, and my friend said I wanted these socks because they were like, they could see what I was knitting. So then I made one pair for my friend's husband. He is size 44, so he has green cuffs. I don't try to match exactly the colors, just a bit, so you could see this is more green, this is less, but you could see that it's like the same pair. And then my father-in-law, I was chatting with my mother-in-law, and she said that my father-in-law has been wearing socks like this. I knitted like using Regia or Repot maybe 5 years ago before coming here, and he's been wearing them every day, washing, putting on the heater, and next morning again using those socks everywhere. And now they started to have like thinned on the heels and the soles, and I decided that he needs new ones. And I asked what type of socks would he like to get, like long or short, or maybe some dark colors, like more male, colors, as he's quite old. And so he said, I want short and colorful. So I thought, what can be better? These are huge, if you can see, because he wears size maybe 47. So I knitted 47. I haven't washed them yet because I finished yesterday at 11 in the evening. So he's got also green bluish loops. And I decided that I will buy some Norwegian alcohol and wrap together with the socks, and that would be a perfect hello to my father-in-law. But then I realized that my dad lives quite close to where he lives, and they are good friends and chat quite often. So if he says he got a pair of socks from me together with some other little gifts, my dad would be really jealous and I would be in trouble. So I had no other choice but to cast on another pair of socks. But I've used 3 balls of this yarn, and here is only 30 grams left. It's not enough for one sock because I weighed like my father-in-law's socks weigh 71 grams, so it's 35 for one sock. So it's not enough. Then I went into my stash and I found this one, Grundel Hot Socks Madena. It's a 4-ply yarn, the same 410 meters and 100 gram, and I used the same number 2 needles, and I cast it on for this sock. That I've been working on is this unraveled sweater. It had, it had this and this color work on the yoke. It was like peaks or zigzags, and I bought it in a second-hand shop. When I touched it, I realized that's this Icelandic wool I hadn't knitted before. And then I bought it thinking that I would wear it or I would unravel it. 2-3 weeks ago we had very cold weather like most in Europe, and I was wearing it. but this yoke part where the pattern was, it's knitted too tight. That's the problem. It's like very hard, and this part with strands going here made it so hard. It was like armor. I could hardly move my arms, though it was really warm. So I decided I wear it till the cold weather finishes, and then I will unravel it. Unfortunately, I didn't take the photo because I didn't think I would start filming so soon. And then I decided that I would, instead of this, I would knit flies. First I thought I would knit those flies at the bottom of the sweater, but when I unraveled and started looking, like planning already, I changed my mind. I decided to have those flies here, and then I thought, like, even if it's knitted so tightly, I will not have enough yarn because it's white and beige color, so these two extra balls would be missing. So I went to the yarn shop where they sell Icelandic wool. Yeah, and I went and asked if they have this. I brought the sweater, I put the sweater on the floor and started taking the colors close to it, and I found this. If you look like this, you can see this is much brighter and this has like more heathered look. Of course, I don't know how old it is and how much it was worn, and this is another dyeing batch, so the shade must differ. A couple of years ago I found a picture on Pinterest maybe of those flies. I printed out and even made a chart, and now I said like, I want those flies because I had like some let loppy yarn, so I could hold it the strand double and make those like cosmic flies. But when I started knitting it, the stitches are so big and the fly got so wide, and it didn't have that dimension this fly has, because can you see it's like hand dyed or sock yarn, and it's colorful and it looks like, you know how flies shine in the sunshine, like petrol, you know, colors. My fly didn't have this, and I thought, okay, then I would knit the legs gray because I had gray color as well. And when I started, it has 3 pairs of legs, and when I started knitting, every row had 3 colors. So, and all the yarns, all the floats were dangling. And if you take, look, this is double, this is a la for sloppy. Okay, it's only for 1 row. And I needed, I don't know how many rows, 20. Finally, it became thicker than the original sweater was, and said, it doesn't work. I unraveled it. But now the flies looked much nicer with the gray legs. I decided to make the sweater in thinner yarn and to find some hand-dyed yarn I have in my stash. So those flies are like, have this shine. And then I decided to knit with new yarn the yoke and to embroider it using 3D flowers, as I have such beautiful colors. Just look. By the way, I'm making some notes for this round yoke sweater. So if you have some thick yarn and you would like to join me, please follow me and look for my videos, and I will be making a very like express tutorial on how to do it. What do you think? I have a video of a Japanese girl who is embroidering and showing how to do like those 3D flowers of different types. And I think very thick, rough Icelandic wool, usually worn on coldest days, having that blooming motif would be perfect. So I've made the first round of increases, and I've made the short rows to make the back higher. However, I think maybe I would unravel and make the increase round a bit different, because I want it to be tighter here and looser here. So maybe I'll make the first round of increases a bit like, not, I did here every two stitches, so I think I will do it every 3 stitches, because the yarn is so thick, it just increases very sharply and goes bigger. Is that all? That's all about my knitting. And last week I went to the shop, to a supermarket, shopping mall, and we have 2 very good yarn shops in our town, and I promised to myself I will never buy more yarn because I have so much, and I think that collecting yarn might be called another hobby for most of us knitters. Do you agree with me? I was watching one girl. She's a Russian one. I speak and understand and read and write in Russian as well. And I love Russian YouTubers, knitting vloggers, because they give like very good information and how to make the finishing touches look very professional and nice. So she said she has 200 kilos of yarn. Is she on that edge, closer to being insane? Or are we all like that and only money limits us? I don't know. But I have, I think, more than enough. So I decided I would never buy yarn unless it's like really on discount and from my wish list. Because I'm new to Norway, I haven't used Norwegian wool. By the time I was living in Lithuania, I couldn't get any Norwegian wool, and I didn't know what they have. This is what I bought. I bought when you come into the shop, as soon as you enter, there are some, usually 3-4 baskets with discount yarn, and it's always 50% off. So I bought Sannes Garntin Line. This is like ash rose, dusty pink, or something like that. The color is 4621, and it's 53 cotton, 33 viscose, and 14% linen, 220 meters in 50 grams. I bought 10 of these, and then I decided I could have bought 2 or 3 more balls, because first I thought I could knit a sweater, and then I thought I could knit 2 tops, one like sleeveless top and another like maybe like a t-shirt or like a sweater with long sleeves, and the first one that is under could be a bit longer and could go from here, so you could see that those layers. And I think if you have 10 balls, so it's maybe that's not enough for two, for like a two-piece set. I don't know. So, and I have the receipt. So one ball cost €5.20, and now I bought for €2.60, 50%. So I think that's super good. And then they didn't sell long yarns, long yarns. But this long yarns Angelina was in a basket. There were about 15, 16 different colors, the whole palette. But they were like different colors. Each ball it was different in color. And they cost, let me find Angelina. They cost €4 a ball. Before that they cost €8. I think that's a lot. Wait. How many do I have? 2, 4, 6, 7. It nearly fell into my coffee. So I guess it's so expensive because it has 60% of silk and 40% of merino extra fine with a super wash. It's soft and nice and pleasant to touch. It has 150 meters and the needles 4.5. It says women needs, for women M size, you need 300 grams, 6 balls. I bought 9 because I will have to make it striped. I don't know, maybe I'll make it for my daughter or I'll make it for myself. I put those colors on the floor kneeling and playing with all the 16 to find which ones would match best. I wish I could find some, in fact it's a bit lighter gray than the camera, could find some grays so they could like join all the colors, but that's what it is, so we'll have to think. Oh, and one like dusty yellow. The colors that I left purple, burgundy, and orangey one, and I don't remember the rest. I left maybe 6 balls. And then I bought, it was also on discount, and it's one ball is €8.60. It's Rauma, company Rauma, not Sandnes Garn. It's another very big yarn company in Norway, and they produce really good quality yarn. And this is their mohair. It's like typical mohair, 70% kid mohair and 30% polyamide. It's not on silk, but it's such good quality that I love it so much. I have maybe 4 sweaters knitted in this mohair, not like in one strand, but like adding to some thin yarn, and it doesn't itch, it doesn't felt, it wears very nicely. It has very like nice mohair thread, and the mohair, those hairs are spun very evenly on the thread. Sometimes you could see, like in other types of mohair, you could see like bumps and clumps of mohair, and here is like very smooth. I bought 2, they were like orange, pink, like this, like flamingo, hot pink. What else? Some blue colors, bright blue, like, no, it's like sky blue maybe. And this, and I bought this because I want to knit more of these project bags. Maybe you've seen on Instagram Nook's Knit Designs, I'll write it somewhere. And the girls already made big deal out of these project bags. They don't have the embroidery, it's only me embroidered because I knitted like stockinette here, 2-3 rows. I thought it would be for the zip, but then I changed my mind and just to hide it, I embroidered. So they use this bubbly pattern that is as old as the earth, I guess. And they make these sides. Can you see, like, I sewed it here and here. I didn't buy the pattern, I just looked at the model and I found it very simple to knit. And they put a fabric like cotton lining inside. So when you buy, you choose the color of the wool, and they use Sandnes Garn Tove. It's the one used for felting when you like knit some socks or mittens or some sitting pads when you go on tours. So you use this Tove, you knit bigger piece and just felt it in a washing machine. So they use this yarn, sometimes add a strand of mohair, sometimes not. And the buyer could choose the color of the lining, and it comes already with a zip. So what you have to do when you buy it, you just knit it, put in another bag made of like cotton fabric, and then just attach it with a thin sewing thread, the knitted part to the fabric. I have to learn how to sew a zip on cotton fabric. I'm so bad at sewing, but I think that's quite possible. I bought a bunch of zips. So, and this was like my first one. When I saw those girls making those, I thought, oh, that looks cool. And I have lots of this yarn. It's a Danish yarn called Tusenfrids, the worst yarn I've ever tried, in fact. And before coming to Norway, I went to an expensive shop in Lithuania and bought lots of yarn. So if I can't find any yarn in Norway, I would have enough. At least I bought 2 colors, dark brown and this like mustardy. I knitted a sweater with this blue like birds on the yoke color work. And I washed it only once. And by wearing it, it felted into one solid piece, except for the birds because I used another yarn. I washed it only once, and it was not suitable for wearing, only for, I don't know. So I decided not to use this yarn for anything serious like sweaters or garments, and to use it for accessories. And as I didn't have this ball when I was going to the shop, so I just bought like guessing which one would suit best. I think I could use both. This would be a bit darker and this would have like a light halo. So I will try. Here I can show you, like, I was playing with it to see if I use 2 strands of this Tusenfrids and 1 strand of mohair, and I was checking the needle size. I don't remember what size I was using here, but I myself find these small bubbles much more beautiful than the big ones. What do you think? I'll cover so it doesn't. Which one is better? What do you think? So, and I think it's a perfect project bag, knitted, not like sewn. That's another trend. At least in my house, it will be a new trend. And for all of it, having in mind that I paid only half price, I paid 75 euros. So it would be 150 euros if I had to buy it. And for me, that's a lot. But to pay 75, so for 2 sweaters and some project bags, so not bad, not bad. So much I have to tell you today I have some big plans. I have to repot some plants. If you can see there, that's my other hobby. Here you can see mainly Phalaenopsis orchids, but I have some other green plants that use normal soil, and I see they are not doing well. They didn't like the soil I used in summer, so now I'm going to repot because I bought some new one. I have to pick up my son. I have a nice walk by the sea and collect some shells for my Paphiopedilums that are standing right here, so I'm looking at them because they need calcium and another like components for in their like soil growing media, so I have to collect some shells and then crack them later. And I have to knit a bit my dad's sock, and I have to embroider one flower to show you how it looks. So, and then you can decide if you want. You can always join me. So here are my treasures from the trip to the beach. So we always like, if you walk on that pebbly beach, you just have to look where we are going. So you can notice very beautiful pebbles. So this is what we found with the daughter, a ship with a sail. And sometimes we do pebble painting, so they serve well. This is a ginkgo leaf. If you just add little stripes. And this one is the best. A man. I am the green. And this one, it looks as if it has some fossil inside. I have to crack it open to see, because it looks like mud and there might be something inside. I will show you what's inside. Thanks for watching. Hope I inspired you to knit something else. Hope you liked my works. Write down what you think about them, and I'm waiting for you next week. Bye!